Is it cheaper and better to DIY your Nutty Pudding or to buy Bryan Johnson's pre-made products? We're going to break it down by cost, convenience, nutrition, and flavor. Before we dive into it, I want to say I love what Bryan is doing. I'm all for his products. They make following the blueprint protocol super easy for anybody who doesn't want to DIY. Okay, let's get into it. My DIY Nutty Pudding is adapted from Bryan Johnson's original blueprint protocol recipe. I use water instead of nut milk, pomegranate powder instead of juice, and I do not add EVOO. My DIY Nutty Pudding comes in at $2.32. The pre-made Nutty Pudding comes in at $4.58. Premade Nutty Pudding is super convenient. Just open the pouch, mix it up, and boom, breakfast is served. DIY Nutty Pudding, on the other hand, takes a little more effort. You'll need to buy a wider variety of ingredients and spend some time meal prepping them. But for those who love customizing their nutrition and playing with their food, this stuff is totally worth it. There are a variety of nutritional differences between the DIY and pre-made Nutty Puddings. DIY Nutty Pudding is much higher in fat content thanks to the inclusion of macadamia and walnuts in higher proportions. Pre-made Nutty Pudding is higher in protein thanks to the inclusion of hemp and pea protein. But with the DIY Nutty Pudding, the protein is highly customizable. I love adding goat whey protein for the protein content, calcium, and bioavailability. The vitamin and mineral content is fairly comparable. The pre-made Nutty Pudding offers a wide variety of awesome vitamins and minerals. There are also some pretty big differences in the ingredients. The pre-made mix is missing some of the nutrient-dense ingredients from the DIY version, such as chia seeds, and the amount of macadamia and walnuts is in a much lower proportion. While the pre-made version offers convenience, it lacks the same diversity in healthy fats and antioxidants that you get from the DIY blend. So this is the Nutty Pudding according to the website instructions. Powder mixed with 3 ounces of nut milk, a bit of blueberry nut mix.
Cheers, hon.
Cheers. It tastes better than I thought it was going to based on what it looked like.
If I was, busy, like rushing off to a 9-to-5 job or something, I'd happily eat that every day, but I guess I'm spoiled by all the things you make me, so I'm kind of like, nah.
I feel like it tastes like a slightly liquidy version of a protein bar, like a power bar that I would totally eat if it was in bar format. So now I'm excited to play around with the Nutty Pudding powder and see what other recipes I can make out of it. But yeah, it's actually, it tastes nothing like the DIY Nutty Pudding, I'd say, but it's not bad. It's chocolate forward for sure.
It definitely feels much more like a dessert than a breakfast to me.
So this is Nutty Pudding as you and I eat it every day, minus the toppings that we usually put on.
Okay. Tastes like berries and nuts.
Yeah, tastes like food.
That's the key way to put it. Yeah, it tastes.
And yes, I feel immediately in my stomach it being like, I recognize you.
Yeah, it's got a very nice texture. Yeah, there's plenty of moisture in there, but it's still got some like structure.
Some heft.
Some heft, yeah.
All right, so final answer. Winner in the Nutty Pudding Showdown.
Definitely the DIY Nutty Pudding. Yeah, hands down, no contest. And like I said, I'm really spoiled by having the longevity bender cook for me every day. So I have very high standards. I'm sure 5 years ago, Rory would have had that and be like, oh yeah, it's pretty great. I'll eat that every day.
Yeah, I'm sure. Thank you for participating in the Nutty Pudding Showdown.
My pleasure.
And click here for my full DIY Nutty Pudding meal prep recipe.
Hit subscribe, get a free raw.